Next month marks 4 years since the earthquakes first hit Canterbury, and Christchurch's elderly are still doing it tough.
Those people who are living in garages or in houses that are unaffordable to rent, I think that's the disgusting thing.
Today, more than 200 of the city's elderly residents turned out to hear promises and policies from each of the 6 main political parties in the hope that they'll get the answers to their problems. New Zealand First Leader Winston Peters was the celebrity at the event. However, it turned out he had competition.
We not only have Winston Peters, I know he's the call card of it all, but we have the Conservative Party.
In the end, the Conservatives and Labour were the only 2 parties CTV was able to talk to. National and the Greens arrived late, and there was no time to interview United Future leader Peter Dunn. Meanwhile, New Zealand First Leader Winston Peters, the people's hero, declined an interview. However, following the speeches, there was a chance for Grey Power members to speak to the various MPs and contenders to put their points across.
Forget about stadiums or convention centres. I think private homes should be fixed. Put these people back in their own homes.
Labour leader David Cunliffe today announced his party's senior citizens policy, promising that a Labour government would establish a working group tasked with implementing a range of initiatives, putting older people and their carers at the forefront of the policy. An aged care commissioner would be appointed to investigate claims of elder abuse, neglect and financial mismanagement. Labour MP Megan Wood says the elderly aren't coping nearly 4 years on since the September earthquake.
So, for many of them it will be their EQC and insurance issues, and I'm sure they'll be very interested to hear about Labour's plans for that and housing. But also there's a number of other issues. Healthcare and making that accessible for our older New Zealanders is really important, and that's why Labour has made a commitment to free doctors' visits and free prescriptions for those aged over 65.
Conservative Party leader Colin Craig was supposed to be at the debate, but after losing his voice he decided Leighton Baker would be a better contender. Leighton is standing for Christchurch East and says the Conservatives want to help.
One key thing for the elderly is actually law and order, and so we really want to be strong in law and order, no discounted justice, and we believe people should actually work while they're in prison.
Leighton has other suggestions for the rebuild. He says EQC has failed to help Christchurch.
We've had an absolutely failed system, so what we really need is for EQC not to get between people and the insured, but they actually need to let people negotiate with the insurers, get fair settlement, and the insurance company get the money out of EQC. That way people aren't having to get mucked around.
The city is rebuilding. However, Labour says that rebuild is far too slow.
And many of our elderly people just see such a slow and messy recovery and wonder whether they'll ever see much progress in their city.
The forum gave the elderly a chance to hear from the MPs and make their own minds up before next month's election. Marcus Gibbs, CTV News.